So today I have a watch that I am very excited to show you guys. I immediately bought it when it was released. It is the Christopher Ward C1 Bel Canto in blue. This watch has sold out. It sold out in just a few hours on the Christopher Ward website. They released a green version today, and that has also sold out in just a few hours. So you can see this is a very big release for a small brand like Christopher Ward. They make a lot of watches, however, they have not made a lot of these watches. It's sort of a halo watch for them. It's an hour chiming watch with the complication on the dial side. It's somewhat affordable depending on how you look at it, and I think it looks a lot more expensive than its price tag, and that's one of the biggest selling points of this watch. I'm super excited about it, and I'm really happy that I get to own one. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the new Christopher Ward C1 Bel Canto in blue. So here it is. I think I'm one of the first reviewers to get this hands-on, at least YouTube reviewers. There are obviously watch outlets like Worn & Wound who had these hands-on basically at the Wind-Up Watch Fair, which was pretty awesome. I actually got to see it there. I don't think it was this exact same version on the bracelet. It was on the strap, but I am very happy. I actually got this very quick. It was really fast shipping from Christopher Ward. Do you like watches? Are you like me? Do you never stop talking about watches? Is your family sick and tired of hearing you talk about watches all the time? Well, if so, you're in luck. Watch Crunch is a new platform for people like you and me. A safe place where you can talk about watches without all the BS that you find on other platforms. So if you're looking to talk about the latest releases from your favorite brands, or maybe you want to talk about the differences between the Valjoux 7753 and the ETA 2824, then you found your new home. Watch Crunch is free, easy, and troll-free. Check out the link in the description below to find one of the recent threads that I started on Watch Crunch. Come join the discussion and me on watchcrunch.com. And here it is. So you can see the time is right here. That's just a little dial at the top of the dial essentially, and it's a track with applied indices, and then you have hands. Those are loomed. It's about to chime, so it might chime any second now. You can see that hammer right there. That's what's going to hit that spring, which is right there. That goes all the way around the dial, and once that chimes, it restarts the process of bringing that hammer back. So that's basically how this works. You have a button right here, that button, and there you go. There was the chime. I'll let you hear it again many times throughout this video. So there's a button right here. When you press this button, it disengages. So it pulls back the hammer right there. It disengages the chime, and that's it. There's a little red arrow. There's a little squiggly line for noise, a little flat line for no noise. So now it is down, so it is on that flat line. Once you press it again, it chimes because it actually will hit that spring. Now there is no running second hand. So that is something to keep in mind. If you don't like that, you're not gonna like this watch. Usually I don't like that, but come on, what's not to like about this watch? It is really good looking, especially when you're considering the price. This is around just under $4,000. I think it's like $3,900 it came out to, somewhere in that range. With tax and shipping, obviously it was around $4,000. But you can see here on the dial side, so this is what they're saying at least is kind of the dial. There is a plate here. That blue plate is sort of the dial. There is a cutout area where you can see part of the inner workings. And then you have sort of a bridge that goes across on the bottom. There's a bridge that goes across on the top. These are all parts of the actual chiming mechanism. So they added 60 parts to the movement. This is a standard SW200 in here, Solita movement, the same movement that they use in all of their dive watches, field watches, whatever it might be. They've put one in here, and that is below that blue portion. Everything above it and some of the parts below it actually are working to make that chime. Very simple design, but really well executed. Everything is very symmetrical. Obviously, you have that hammer that isn't balanced on this side, but everything else is really symmetrical and looks very, very good, especially again when you're considering the price. Now, this is not, the most high-end watch that you have ever encountered in your life, but you're looking at a watch that looks high-end. It has that look about it, and it does have some of the feel of a high-end watch as well. You're getting a complication that is somewhat high-end. Now, is it a very high-end complication? No, I think a lot of people are sort of overestimating how kind of simple this is. It does just chime once on the hour, so you're not getting a minute repeater for this price. But you're getting something that is a little bit more than, let's say, an alarm watch. So those are a little bit more common. This is a little bit more than that, but it's definitely not a 5-minute repeater, which is probably I think the next step from here, something that would be a lot more complicated and a lot more expensive. If this was a 5-minute repeater, this would be a lot more than $4,000, that is for sure. It is made out of titanium, and it is not grade 5 titanium, I don't believe, because I have to tell you, I've been wearing it for maybe a few hours, and I've already managed to scratch the clasp. So something to keep in mind. I'm not sure if they'll change materials in the future, but there you go. And you do have a closed case back. That's because you need that for the chime. That's the reason why they closed the case back on here. Of course, I would love to see the case back open, but the chime wouldn't be as loud. Also, this is made out of titanium, the shape of the case. Everything that they have done here has been engineered to make that chime sound better, crisper, and louder. That's why they did it. You also have a slightly domed, slightly boxed sapphire crystal. You have your pusher here, your crown here. Crown is signed, not screwed in. You only get 50 meters of water resistance. Really not that big of a deal. They gave you the new style bracelet on here, the new Christopher Ward style bracelet. So you do get screwed links. You're getting a longer buckle on here, and you're getting a little bit more micro adjust. But it's the same micro adjust system that they've been using for a long time on their titanium watches. A little bit more rough when you're actually adjusting it, but it's really not all that bad. It is a little bit rough because it is titanium, and I guess a little bit harder. But everything else, I already adjusted this for my wrist. I already took out some links. There's half links in here, plus that micro adjust. You're going to be able to get a really good fit. They actually finished the case really nicely, like they would have with their other light catcher cases. So you're getting brushing, polishing, bead blasting. Everything is really crisp and clean and really very well finished. They did a great job. It's basically what you would expect from Christopher Ward in the C1 case. So that definitely does not disappoint. The blue dial has sort of a pattern on it that's radiating from the center of the center of where you're telling time. This is loomed, so we're going to do a loom shot. Christopher Ward actually loomed this watch. But quickly, let's listen to some of the chime, because really that's what we want to hear. So as you advance the time, you're going to notice that hammer lifting. And it's lifting more, and it's lifting more. And then we're going to get to the hour change, and you're going to hear it chime. So let's listen. There you go. I'll do it again. So all of this is powered by that SW200. There is no extra thing that you need to wind. There's no extra crown anywhere that you need to do anything with, like you would need to do with a alarm watch. So if you had an alarm watch, a JLC or a Vulcan or something like that, you would have a second crown that you would have to wind to power the alarm. Now, the alarm does sound for a way longer time. It doesn't sound as good. It's not a chime. It's more of a buzz that you get from one of those. But, different complications. This, like I said, is a little bit more of an upscale complication, technically, I guess. Let's do it one more time. And there you go. It would be cool if they came out with an alarm watch. Just saying, Christopher Ward, why not? Let's do an alarm watch. That would be pretty awesome. Anyway, really good looking watch. Let's do quick measurements and put in the crown. So you don't need to have the crown in to actually hear the chime, which is also pretty good. I'm pretty sure it hacks because the SW200 does hack. So I think it's actually not telling time when you have the crown out. So just keep that in mind. If you keep the crown out too long, you're going to lose some time there. It's a 41 millimeter case, but it's almost 41 millimeters and a half. That's what I have measured. So it's in that range. It's on the thicker side, but considering the amount of depth that you're getting to this dial, so 13 millimeters, it has a lot of depth to the dial. There's a lot going on, so you know, something to mention there. And then the lug to lug is 48.2. You have male end links 53.1, and then that is the effective lug to lug, and then of course 6.4 millimeters at that crown. Very nicely sized crown. Now, Christopher Ward, no strangers to making sort of halo watches for their brand. They've come out with jump hour watches. They've come out with sort of really special watches that they did with Arm & Strom, and those were really well priced. And in fact, this watch is the first watch that I've bought from them that is sort of a halo watch. I've bought other watches from them. One of them is my Dive Master. I love that watch. Watch that will stay in my collection. I'm contemplating selling it, but I've never have. I absolutely love that watch. I think it's really cool. This is just a different level from those watches. I would love to see this in a stainless steel case as well, or maybe a grade 5 titanium. That's really my only complaint, I think, in general with this watch. The material of titanium, and I believe it's grade 2 titanium, it does scratch, and I don't think this has any sort of extra hard coating on it to combat the effects of, you know, day-to-day wear. So this will eventually not look as good as it does right now because it will get scratched up. And then, you know, it's grade 2 titanium. I mean, I don't know, like you have to have the watch refinished. It's going to be really hard. Anyway, one more time, let's listen to the chime, and then we will do a quick lume shot. But quickly, before I do the lume shot, let me show you this watch on my wrist, because I think this is probably one of the most important aspects of this watch. Since it is titanium, it is very light. It wears really nicely on my wrist, and I've already been wearing it. This is another watch that I actually got today, and I haven't worn because I've been wearing this watch. This watch was a watch that I ordered a long time ago, and it finally got to me. This is a King Seiko chronometer, high beat. I put this on a Japanese strap from Knot. These straps are awesome, and I really love this watch. It's so cool. But ironically, I got both watches on the same day, and now this is not getting any wrist time today. But it's in great condition. There's a couple little scratches in the back, but otherwise, really fantastic condition. King Seiko. My first King Seiko. I am very excited about that. I've been buying a lot of vintage Seiko. I've been on a tear with vintage Seiko for good reasons, I think. But there you go. Look at that. It wears really nice. It doesn't wear very thick. It doesn't wear like a 13 millimeter watch on your wrist, but it looks phenomenal on my 7.5 inch wrist. They did a great job. I think this will look good on the strap as well. I wanted to get the bracelet, of course, and then eventually I'll add a strap. I'll buy a blue strap or something like that. From either Christopher Ward, or I'll just add my own, whatever strap I use. But I think it looks great. It reminds me a lot of, you know, higher end brands that do this sort of offset dial, and, you know, they put some of the complications on the front. That's kind of the reason why I think this is so popular. They came out with a green version that has already sold out as well, and that was really quick. I mean, almost instantaneously, overnight, they sold 600 of these watches at around $4,000 a piece, $3,500 a piece. I am very impressed with this watch. So quickly, a lume shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. The fact that this even has lume, I think, is impressive. Of course, Christopher Ward always do a good job with lume, so the lume isn't really bad on here. It's just a very small surface area where they have applied lume, so not a ton of lume on the dial, but where it is applied, it's liberally applied, so it does hang on. So I am impressed with the lume overall. Obviously, you don't have a second hand, which I actually think is a very good call on this watch. They've done everything here. They've really thought of every single little piece of this watch, and they've made it special in some way. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I can complain about is the material. I wish that they used grade 5 titanium or stainless steel. Grade 2 titanium, I'm not a huge fan of, but that's really it. Or at least put a extra hard coating on it. That would have helped, you know, in that capacity. So $4,000 though, you're getting a really beautiful watch that has a really interesting complication that is somewhat useful. And look at it. I mean, it even has loom, and the loom hangs on. So it looks good. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.